Hello, in this video, we're focusing on the practical concepts that you can actually apply in the real business world. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get on with it. Today, we're going to explore how combining SWOT analysis with other strategic tools can help you make better decisions and create a bigger impact. The image you see is a simple representation of SWOT, showing how strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats fit together in a continuous cycle. Understanding each part clearly is essential, but when you integrate other tools alongside SWOT, you can deepen your insights and plan more effectively. Let's dive into how to do this in a practical way throughout the presentation. SWOT analysis is popular because it breaks down a company's position into 4 clear parts: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This makes it easy for organizations to get a quick overview of where they stand. But the simplicity that makes SWOT useful can also limit its effectiveness. On its own, it often turns into just a basic brainstorming session without deeper analysis, clear priorities, or actionable strategies. Today's business world is complex, with fast-changing technology, unpredictable regulations, evolving customer needs, and tougher competition. In this environment, SWOT works best when it's combined with other strategic tools like PESTLE, Porter's 5 Forces, and the business model Canvas. By linking these tools together, SWOT shifts from a static checklist into a dynamic framework that drives thoughtful decision-making. This approach helps businesses not just identify factors affecting them, but also understand how they interact and what actions to take next. We will look at practical ways to integrate these methods, examine real examples, and discuss the benefits and challenges of doing so, ultimately showing how leaders can make better strategic choices with a more connected approach. SWOT analysis on its own often falls short because factors can be vague or repeated, and it's common to mix up internal and external issues. It doesn't provide a way to prioritize or act on findings, so results tend to be descriptive lists rather than clear strategic decisions. However, when SWOT is combined with other frameworks, it becomes more reliable and practical. For instance, using PESTLE helps refine the external opportunities and threats by examining political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. Porter's 5 Forces deepens understanding of competitive dynamics that impact those external threats and opportunities. The business model Canvas offers clarity around internal strengths and weaknesses by mapping out key activities and resources. Finally, the Whitaker strategy grid translates these insights into concrete decisions, assessing risks and guiding actions. This integrated approach makes SWOT not just a list, but a structured, evidence-based tool that directly supports strategy development and implementation. To build a stronger SWOT analysis, start by using PESTLE to understand the external context. PESTLE looks at political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors that influence the bigger picture outside the organization. Instead of just listing general market trends in a SWOT, PESTLE helps pinpoint specific external risks and opportunities, like regulatory threats that might increase costs or new technologies that create growth chances. It also helps anticipate economic challenges and social or environmental pressures that could impact the business. The insights from PESTLE fill out the opportunities and threats parts of the SWOT, but each factor needs to be translated into a concrete business impact. For example, if PESTLE reveals increasing carbon regulations, the SWOT might list this as a threat due to higher compliance costs, but also as an opportunity for gaining an advantage by being one of the first to offer low carbon products. This approach makes the SWOT more precise and actionable by directly linking external changes to strategic implications. Porter's 5 Forces helps us understand the competitive landscape by looking at 5 key areas: the rivalry among current competitors, the threat posed by new entrants entering the market, the power suppliers have over the company, the power that customers hold, and the threat of substitute products or services. This analysis keeps our SWOT from focusing only inward, making sure we consider external pressures as well. When we bring these forces into our SWOT framework, competitive pressures identified become threats, and any structural advantages gain become opportunities. Also helps pinpoint our strengths and weaknesses by showing how we stack up against competitors. For example, if buyers have a lot of power, we might face margin pressure, which is a threat. On the other hand, if switching costs are high for customers, that's a strength because it means customers are more likely to stick with us. Integrating Porter's 5 forces this way really grounds our SWOT in the realities of the industry environment. The business model canvas helps us break down a company into 9 key parts, like value propositions, customer segments, key resources, cost structure, and revenue streams. Many SWOT analyses struggle because they aren't clear about what the business really does well. When we use the canvas, it's easier to see where strengths and weaknesses come from. For example, if a company has strong resources, solid partnerships, or cost advantages, those become clear strengths. On the other hand, weak value propositions or inefficient cost structures highlight weaknesses. To give an example, if the canvas shows the business depends heavily on just one revenue stream, this translates directly into a weakness in the SWOT, a risk tied to revenue concentration. Using the business model canvas this way makes the SWOT more concrete and actionable. This stage, it's important to understand that the SWOT analysis shifts from being just a brainstorming exercise to a synthesis tool. We want to focus on consolidating insights into a clear, high-quality SWOT by following a few best practices. First, limit the number of factors in each quadrant to between 5 and 7, focusing only on the most impactful points. Each factor should be specific and backed by evidence, avoiding vague or general statements. It's also crucial to keep a strict separation between internal factors, strengths and weaknesses, and external factors, opportunities and threats. Finally, every SWOT factor should be clearly linked back to one of the strategic tools used previously, like Pestle, Porter's 5 forces, or the business model canvas. This ensures that the analysis is grounded in comprehensive research and provides a well-rounded picture of the business situation. The Whitaker strategy grid helps bridge the gap between analyzing your situation and putting plans into action. It starts by clearly defining your current strategic position using insights from the SWOT analysis and business model review. Then explores strategic options by pairing your strengths with opportunities while also addressing weaknesses and threats. Next, it highlights potential risks drawn directly from external threats and challenges you might face when implementing your strategy. Finally, it moves into strategic implementation, turning chosen options into concrete steps, assigning responsibilities, setting timelines, and identifying key performance indicators to track progress. This approach ensures that your SWOT findings are not just a list of factors, but a guide to practical, focused actions that align with your overall business goals. This example of a retail chain dealing with declining footfall, the Pestle analysis points to rising digital adoption and cost of living pressures as major external factors that influence the business environment. Porter's 5 forces highlights a competitive landscape where buyers have strong power and rivalry among competitors is intense. When we look at the business model canvas, the company has a strong brand, which is a clear strength, but it also carries high fixed costs due to its physical stores. The SWOT analysis draws these insights together. The strength lies in the brand recognition. The weakness is the high cost of operating physical stores. The opportunity is growth potential in e-commerce, and the threat comes from online-only competitors. Using the Whitaker strategy grid, the recommended strategic option is to accelerate an omni-channel approach, combining physical and digital channels. However, this carries risks, including execution complexity and possible margin dilution. To implement this strategy, the company should focus on rationalizing store locations, investing more in digital capabilities, and forming partnerships that improve logistics, ensuring a smoother transition into a more competitive and digitally oriented market. In this example, the Pestle analysis highlights uncertainty around AI regulations, which is a key external factor affecting the company's environment. Looking at Porter's 5 forces, we see moderate competitive rivalry, but high switching costs for customers, which can act as a barrier to losing clients. The business model canvas reveals the company has strong intellectual property, which is a major asset but their marketing capability is relatively weak, suggesting a challenge in reaching and converting customers effectively. The SWOT analysis synthesizes these findings into clear points. The proprietary technology is a significant strength, while limited go-to-market capacity is a weakness. There's a clear opportunity in the growing adoption of AI across industries, but regulatory delays pose a notable threat. Using the Whitaker strategy grid, the strategic option recommended is a partner-led market expansion, leveraging alliances to grow reach. This approach carries the risk of losing some control over customer relationships, so it's important to mitigate this by forming selective alliances with clear governance structures to maintain oversight and alignment. Overall, this balances the company's technical strengths with strategic growth opportunities while addressing potential risks methodically. During the COVID-19 pandemic, this healthcare organization faced several challenges that our analysis tools helped to clarify. The PESTLE framework highlighted growing regulatory and social pressures impacting operations. Using the 5 forces model, we saw that supplier power was limited due to shortages in personal protective equipment, which constrained supply chains. The business model canvas showed that the organization had rigid cost structures, making it hard to adapt quickly financially. By combining these insights in a comprehensive SWOT analysis, we identified key strengths and weaknesses that fed into the Whitaker strategy grid. This allowed the organization to find a balance between patient safety, financial sustainability, and workforce resilience, ensuring they could maintain care quality without compromising their long-term viability or staff well-being. Linking SWOT with other strategic tools brings several advantages. First, it adds greater analytical rigor, turning SWOT from an opinion-based exercise into one driven by concrete evidence. This focus helps leaders zero in on what truly matters, avoiding overwhelming lists and instead highlighting high-impact factors. Using the Whitaker strategy grid creates a clear path from analysis to action, ensuring that strategies developed are practical and executable. It also encourages cross-functional alignment by providing a shared framework, which improves communication and secures buy-in from different parts of the organization. Finally, this approach is versatile and adaptable, working effectively across various industries and business sizes, making it a valuable method for a wide range of strategic planning needs. It's important to recognize that using these strategic tools can take a significant amount of time and resources, especially if data collection and facilitation aren't well organized. There's also the risk of over-analysis, where relying on too many tools or too much information can slow down decision-making rather than help it. The quality of any strategy you develop depends heavily on the quality of your data. If the inputs are weak, the outcomes will be too. Finally, these tools are meant to support leadership decisions, not replace them. Effective judgment is still crucial to guide strategy and action. SWOT analysis is a useful strategic tool, but its real strength comes when it's combined thoughtfully with other frameworks like PESTLE, Porter's 5 forces, the business model canvas, and the Whitaker strategy grid. On its own, SWOT can become superficial and less effective, but when linked with these tools, it offers a comprehensive view connecting external factors, competitive forces, business logic, and execution plans. The key is not just to use these tools separately, but to integrate them so SWOT acts as the central synthesis point, with the Whitaker strategy grid driving the implementation. This combined approach helps organizations make clear decisions, manage risks, and carry out strategies successfully. In today's unpredictable environment, this kind of structured, interconnected framework supports leaders in moving beyond reactive responses towards strategies that are logical and focused on real value. If you found this video useful, there's plenty of more business and finance videos on the channel that you'll enjoy watching and get great practical value from. In the meantime, thanks for watching.